Good day, gentlemen. This is SwashbucklingSir here, and today we're taking a peek at a 3D dungeon crawler with roguelike elements, which is currently on Kickstarter and on Steam Greenlight, called Heart&Slash. So, Heart&Slash. Let us take a little look into the options menu first, because the controls in this game are a mess. Let's just say it like that. Let's just say it straight out. It's a mess playing this game, especially with the keyboard. I have already rebound very important keys. So the dodge, the evade key, was on, I presume, X it was, but it's impossible pressing X while moving, so I don't know what the idea behind that is. And keep in mind that this game is in a very early alpha build, and that the controls are in no way near finished, and it doesn't seem possible to bind shift anywhere. This is why my run is tab instead of shift. But, oh yeah, and I've bound Alpha 1, Alpha 2, and Alpha 3, which is actually just 1, 2, 3 to my weapons. And now I can actually play it with keyboard and mouse. But currently I'm using my 360 pad because it just feels a lot better. But you know that you can rebind the keys, and you know that you might want to do that, at least in the current state of the game. Now, for the gamepad, the input prompts are not actually labeled properly, so it's very hard to tell what's actually what, but that's rather easy to figure out, and there's also stuff in-game that tells you. Now, there's one thing I don't understand, and I will show you in-game, which is usually you start off with these two options switch off, and I will show you what effect this has in the game. And you can also, like, inverse X and Y axis and decrease sensitivity if you would want to do that. As for audio, you have two different sliders, that's fine, and you have a couple of video options, which is good too. But I don't think... The game currently runs at 700 to 800 frames per second for me, so I don't think you should have a problem. This should run on basically every potato you have in your household. So, Heart&Slash. What is it? As for the story, I'll just quote the Kickstarter page. Not all robots are the same. Maybe due to a faulty wiring, there are some willing to stand for themselves, to resist conformity, and to find identity. Well, we are one of those robots, and we are called Heart, as indicated by the screen, or face, or whatever. And as you can see in the back, you get explained that you use the left analog stick to move, and the right one to use the camera. The game does not have a follow camera, so you have to adjust it all the time, which is a tad annoying. But again, that might be something that comes in the future. Now, jump back to the story. We are one of those robots called Heart, and our memory is wiped when we get caught by the forces of the quality assurance system, so-called, that we fight. And, well, this is basically the explanation for the semi-permadeath and the random generation of this game, so the roguelike elements, so to speak. And every time we start, we get to this room and we get presented an array of 3 items, and they always consist of 1 weapon at least, and up to 3, and other stuff. So our weapon here is the meat cleaver. Now I will put this in my main hand. Our second weapon is the combat shotgun, which is awesome because ranged weapons are bloody OP. And we have a riot shield, which we put in the right hand. No. Now, something I'd like to show you. Here is... No, don't push me down here. So, currently, I have... Wait, this is the wrong menu. I have the usual layout or the usual control setup that you would have when you just start the game. And that means I always have my main hand equipped, unless I press the left trigger and hold it to equip my left weapon, or equip the right weapon by right trigger and holding the right trigger. Now this is superbly confusing because you have to hold down the stuff all the time. Let's say I want to use the shield for a longer period of time, or I would want to use the shotgun for a longer period of time. I would have to hold the trigger the whole time. And I don't understand why anyone would use controls like that. It's just, for me, this destroys games. I don't want to press trigger for consecutive of 15 minutes or longer. It's just bollocks to me. So this is why, no, wrong menu again. This is why, luckily, they have this. Oh yeah, one thing I'd like to mention. You can, in this setup, you can run rather quickly, which you need for platforming. So this is my usual run and this is my quick run. And to do this, you have to press both left trigger and right trigger. And obviously, it somehow switches your weapons. So maybe you want to run fast but don't want to switch weapons. Well, bad luck to you, I guess. So, luckily, well, I keep pressing the wrong menu. Luckily, you can switch on this alternate weapon select and the single key run, which improves the controls at least a little bit in its current state. So now, I have my main weapon utilized, and when I press left trigger once, I can release it now, and I have my shotgun. And I can press the right trigger, and I have the right shield. Now, how do I get back to the center weapon? Well, this is where the left button comes into play. I don't know why they wouldn't just use left trigger and right trigger to cycle through the weapons. So let's say I have my shotgun available, and if I would press left trigger now, I just cycle through to the right shield, and the right trigger to cycle to the right to my meat cleaver. I guess that would just make too much sense, probably. Maybe they do it, maybe they'll show, someone or they will look at this video and they say, well, that would be a smart idea to do the weapon control system. I would be glad if I could help in that case. Now, enough talking about the controls. Let's actually do some gameplay here. So, as I've opened this menu a couple of times before now, as you can see, we have experience already. So we have 1,000 experience to spend, and we can spend it on our equipment and on our heart themselves. I would want to upgrade something that I'd like to use a whole lot, so which is the shotgun. I think ranged weapons are really good, and I will show you the meat cleaver and upgrade that, and I'll grab a little bit of hit points and one for the shield. So I think that's okay. Now, let us actually do some gameplay. Enough talking. So we started from here. This is where we came out. And now we have 3 ways to go. It's similarly to games like Binding of Isaac or Paranautical Activity, if you will. It also has a similar artistic style with a voxel idea going on. It's rather beautiful. So you just go into a room, and usually enemies spawn, exactly, and now you fight those. As stated before the intro, this is a brawler. So now we have 2 enemies here. We have this blue one that charges at us, and the one with the 2 swords. I'm just evading for the second because I want to look at those guys. Now, let's first explain the brawling mechanics. I have a slow attack, a heavy attack, so to speak. I have a heavy attack, which takes time to trigger, and takes time to trigger, but it hits rather hard, and I have a quick attack, which is quick, well, but rather weak. So, let's hit some people. Let's smash this guy, and then we have also, as you could have seen before, but I've not mentioned it, I can dodge roll, and I can also just do this in back, so you can evade the enemy attacks, and you have a double jump. So, now let's try to fight those guys with a meat cleaver first. I don't want to use the shotgun just yet, because I want to show off that this game is bloody hard. So, you really have to pay attention what's going on the screen, because you can, well, maybe I want to show off the shotgun, because there's no guarantee I'm actually surviving this room without using it. Yeah, I can get to the controls later on. So, with a shotgun, you press X to aim, and release X to fire. You only have one shot, so you have to reload by pressing the heavy attack button. That's for the most of the ranged weapons I encountered. As for the sounds, you might hear like a little bling. Remember that this is, as I said, a very early build, and the sounds are in no way finished. As far as I know, the only sound part that is actually finished and final is the music. So you can judge by the music how the sound's going to be, but don't judge by the sound effects you're going to hear. Ow! Shoot! I don't think I'm going to make it! Die! Well, he seems to resist a lot of this stuff. Well, at least the other guy seems to be vulnerable to the gun. Let's shoot this guy then. At least I want to kill one enemy in a run. That would be great! Yes! Die! Nope, let's not get hit by the blade guy. Oh god, he's still not dead? Jesus Christ, die already! Okay. Oh, I can actually load twice. Oh, that's nice. Ah, that's good. So, yeah, resist and scratch. Well, that's not very useful, is it? Ah, okay. So, let's try this. I want to talk about the controls after I have destroyed this man. He's blinking red. That means he's almost dead. I don't think, by the way, that this is a good indication that enemies are already close to death. It's just, I don't think that's a very good thing. And it's just because if there are lots of enemies, it gets disturbing rather quickly. I think he's stuck. Oh, well, good enough. So let's use the meat cleaver to finish him off. So no scratching here. Good. So yeah, the red blinking gets rather disturbing once there are a lot of enemies in the room. So maybe there is a way of... Oh god, I missed the platform. Well, 1 hit point, that's not going to go too well. As you could see, I messed up the platforming. That is partially because I'm very bad, and partially because the graphics are not final in any way, shape or form. And this leads to this, mainly the problem I have with the game is the lighting doesn't actually very precisely tell you where you are in a 3D space, so it's often harsh to know how to actually aim the platform. Oh wait, wrong button. I have to reload obviously. Shoot those guys. Down from the sky. Good. So let's try this again. I actually don't know if I die now, but I would presume. So I find it hard to tell because there's barely any lighting, and I think it's just not finished yet. So this just lacks a lot of polish. But in its current state, what I have to say is that it feels rather good, even though it has its problems. And it's almost funded on Kickstarter as well, so you can be quite sure that this game is going to see the light of day, which is very cool, because I'd love to play more of this, especially once it gets more polish. So, now we have mean enemies going on in here. We have some kind of form of tank. Now let's see if he actually gets damaged by our shotgun. Well, that sounds like a hit. That's good. Let's destroy it. I'm actually not sure if I actually hit the tank or the thing behind it. Oh, that's okay. As for the enemy hit points, I prefer if the enemies had like health bars on top of their heads. So it's just a lot preciser. And I don't know, I just don't like the red blinking. It's just, it feels out of context. But as you can see here, when I was close to the wall, whoa, cheap. That's what I get for wanting to show off the depth of field. Stupid me. Now let's just jump right back into the game. So it has nice effects going on, and I feel, even though it's a very early state and the graphics is not very final already, it's still a pretty game. So let's just pick up stuff. Training weight. What is this? A hand the hand blades. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is going to be very close. Italian boots. From old Europe, the famous anti-fungi footwear. Smash on top of your enemies. Oh, well, Mario. Good, and training weights. Well, that's going to be a close-up thing, and I'm going to die horribly. Can I upgrade the boots? Fall from higher. Okay. Well, I'm going to die. It's going to be horrible. Okay. Now, what obviously is the main problem... Oh yeah, maybe I should state. For those of you who have not played the game, or would want to play the game... Oh, I can't actually double jump now. Oh, that's interesting. So for those of you who would want to play the game, you can just download basically this version I'm playing right here on Kickstarter. Let's smash this. And I actually want to try this jumping on the enemy thing. Yeah, well, it's not going to be easy, is it? Oh, no. Oh, fudge this. Okay, so you can download the version from Kickstarter, and you can just try it for yourself. I highly recommend using a controller, but it works with mouse and keyboard if you rebind the controls. Now, what I find most annoying and frustrating in its current state is that the game... The controls and the animations are just... Well, it's because of the early version, obviously, but it just... The main fault, or the main problem I have, which is not visible due to the fast nature of the weapon I have right now, is the indicator that the enemies attack are these exclamation marks above their heads. And the time frame is rather short between the exclamation mark showing and the actual attack. So you need to react rather quickly. Now the problem is that often in... Good job, Tank! Wow! I love that they can fight each other, that's great. Okay. Now the problem is that... Can I jump on this guy? No. Oh god, oh god. Oh god, oh god, what happened? Okay, the problem is, like, for the third time, that... When you use the heavy attack, and... Oh, that actually works for this too, because the attack is rather lengthy. Yes, okay. So, when you use the heavy attack, and then in that second the exclamation mark appears, and you want to dodge, and so you press the dodge button, the animation has to finish. So basically, you're standing there, knowing you will be attacked, but your heavy attack animation is going to be finished before you actually do the dodge roll, so you will be hit. And that is so frustrating, because you know you are going to get hit, and you know you want to dodge, but the animation basically has to finish. And I don't think that's a very smart idea for a brawler that has to have tight controls to feel good, to have this animation, the long animation loop. And I feel this is something, if they want the game to feel really polished and really tight, this is what they have to fix first and foremost. The other things I mentioned and will mention is basically details. So the controls, they will be polished. I'm 100% sure about that. And as for the animation, this just needs more feedback and just needs to be tighter overall. And this takes time, and this is obviously what they hope for once they get funded, and I sincerely hope they do. And I really would love to jump on the head of this thing, but it wouldn't let me because it's just always higher than me. Also, something I don't quite understand is sometimes I just do scratch through the enemies, and sometimes I do hits, and I actually don't know why either happens. I think it might be due to heavy or weak attacks and the armor rating of the enemy, but I'm not sure. Jesus Christ, this enemy is annoying. You could just calm down already. People probably want to see more than just a floating tank. Could you please... Yeah, thank you very much. Ah. Wait, okay, I am presuming this is a bug. Yes, okay. Let's just not look at this. Oh, new stuff. Great. What do we get? Sticky legs. Well, these allow you to stick to the wall and jump from the wall. And we'll just show off these so you can stick to the wall and have a wall jump. I personally dislike that. Same as I dislike the climbing gloves in Spelunky. Not my cup of tea. Now, we're in a poison room. I'm actually not sure how long it takes to poison me, because I've actually never really seen the poison take effect. But I assume it's a poison room. So, can I actually lure the enemies out because the doors didn't close? Oh, well, let's just do that. Fudge the poison. Do they come? Oh, it doesn't seem like it. Okay. Hello? Yes, okay. Follow me. Out of the room. Yes, you almost did it. Come on. Yes, good. Okay, let's just fight it here. And in its current state, as far as I'm aware, at least I've never encountered a boss, but there are supposed to be 3 different bosses once the game is funded and in completion state. Oh god, I remember this enemy. This enemy is going to kill me. Yes, oh, no, no, just leave it. Okay, maybe it wasn't that smart to actually fight here. Where are you? Smack him! Smack! I died. Ah, too bad. Well, I'd love if actually they could use the voxel art style and the enemy, or no, me, when I die, would just fall into voxels. That would be cool. But I don't know if it actually would fit the mobile. Shut up! I'm trying to record. Always these people want to contact me. Crazy people. Well, that's really crazy. It's like the 3rd message in a minute. Stop it. Okay, so I think I'll just wrap up my thoughts here. So the game is really good. As for its state, it's currently in. It's in 25%. Done basically, and it almost reached the Kickstarter goal, and obviously it's also on Greenlight, so the links you'll find in the description. If you like what you see, just hop over to the Kickstarter page, download the demo, try it for yourself, and then, you know, throw a couple of bucks in their way. I think they'll deserve the support, and I'm sure they'll improve the problems that I've mentioned with the game in the current state. And I'm really, really looking forward to playing the final version of Heart&Slash. So, as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye.